This is Horns Up. I'm Animesh.
And I'm Peter.
And we're going old school with Bangalore's own Kryptos today, who released their sixth studio album on 1st October 2021. It's called Force of Danger, and it adds another chapter to the sound of denim and leather and everything heavy metal, a sound that's been championed by frontman Nolan Lewis since 1998. Nolan, welcome back to Horns Up, man.
Hey, good to be here. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, so we last spoke to each other around 2 years back, just before Emulation tore up fandom in Bangalore. And that was like August 2019. So obvious question, man, how's life been? How was lockdown? Heard everyone had COVID, so I guess everyone's like negative now and vaccinated.
I mean, the lockdown was as bad as it was for us, as for anybody else. Yeah, we all got COVID, one after the other. Ganesh got COVID twice, some shit. And yeah, we just had to, power through all that somehow. And right now we're all okay. Everyone's vaccinated. Everyone's doing well. Everyone's going to work now. So yeah, but for a good year and a half, we couldn't do anything. We had to push our European tours to 2022. We didn't have time to, and we couldn't do anything actually regarding the band, but somehow in the middle of all that, we managed to record an album. I don't know how we did that, but we somehow managed to do that. It kind of sucks because we actually expected, the pandemic to die down in 2021, which is why we scrambled to get the album recorded so that we would have it ready in time for a European tour in 2021. But no, we got egg on our face over there as well. So right now we have an album coming out and we don't have a tour to promote it because it's pushed to 2022.
Why couldn't you guys be like Maiden and record something like 2 years prior and not release it? And
yeah, I wish we had that luxury, but unfortunately, we're stuck in Bangalore and not. Where do they live?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Bruce probably in different parts of the world.
Bruce probably lives on a 747.
He was stuck in Italy or in France.
Yeah,
one of the two countries. When the lockdown was first, when the pandemic first hit. Anyways.
Yeah. Since we brought up Maiden, right? Nolan, you're a Maiden head like us. What did you make of Senjutsu? Be honest.
I'm not really a fan of anything Maiden has done since from Brave New World onwards. Senjutsu is pretty much the same as all the albums that came before it. It's a strict 50-50 album. 5 good songs, good songs, and 5 below average songs. And man, some of the songs just go on and on and on. And thankfully, they all they don't go into 15-20 minute territory like last time.
Yeah, but you're one of the few guys who likes the X Factor and Virtual 11.
I'm not a big fan of Virtual 11, but I like the X Factor. And there is some X Factor Virtual 11 bits and bobs in the new album. I mean, there are some songs that could very well, like Death of the Celts and all that stuff. It's straight out of Virtual 11. It's like the Klansman Part 2, but much worse. Come on, X Factor was a really good album. And none of the songs exceeded 6 minutes.
Which one was Angel and the Gambler on?
Oh yeah, that was on Virtual 11.
It's
like the first Maiden song ever. I hold that song responsible for all the shit they did since.
Yeah, the Angel and the Gambler tends to do that to you. I mean, how many times can you just hear, "Don't you look like a stranger"? Anyways, fuck that shit, man. We're not here to talk Maiden, although that deserves a separate conversation with Nolan anytime. We're here to talk Force of Danger. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
So, what is Force of Danger like? Is it your heaviest? Is it the one where you've returned to your roots? Is it the band's best album ever?
All bands say the new album is their best album ever, but ours it's more of the same. It's the same. It's a continuation of Afterburner, which was a continuation of Burn of the Night. So I would say it's like the third installment in the trilogy, if you want to put it that way. I think the only difference is maybe the production on Force of Danger is a bit raw. It's got more NW BHM style production. The guitars are pretty sharp. The bass is a bit buried in the mix. It's a bit snarlier. It's more focused, I would say. And the songs are much, they're more, how do you say? They're more compact. So compared to Afterburner had a bit more breathing room, and things were spaced out a bit more. But Force of Danger is pretty much straightforward. It's like it just knocks song. It's just song after song. It's like knocking down dominoes, tuck, 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 one by one, and it gets to the point straight away. There's no farting about. It's just straight out, which is what I really loved about all the old NW BHM albums. Like by Angel Witch and Blitzkrieg and Jaguar and all. There was no messing around. It was one riff, a kick-ass riff, go straight into the verse, chorus, solo. That's it, and you're done. Next song, let's go. And it's all about just keeping the momentum going. After what we did with Afterburner, this was the natural progression, and I think if you look at the themes of the songs and the lyrics and everything, it's extremely heavy metal, this, metal that, blah 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 stuff. So I think we might have exhausted our vocabulary with that on this album.
Yeah, I'm just like reading the track list and you can hear that, right? But we totally agree about, Force of Danger being a natural follow-up to Afterburner.
Yeah.
I must ask you though, did the success of Afterburner propel the creation of Force of Danger?
Yeah, I mean, Force of Danger is its own beast. We didn't really, Afterburner really didn't have anything to do with it. We didn't really think of topping it or making another Afterburner or anything of that sort. Force of Danger was just what we just felt like writing that music at that particular point in time. Because we were all locked down and stuff, we were watching a lot of old movies, like, all the stuff we grew up on, Terminator and Escape from New York and RoboCop and whatever it is, and we just all, I don't know, we're just getting all these waves of nostalgia. So, we're like, what, let's put some of this into our music. And it worked, because we aren't just influenced by bands. We're also influenced by a lot of stuff, books and movies and all kinds of things that we read or watch. So this was kind of like, it's like when you watch these 90s sci-fi action flicks and stuff, there's always that element of suspense and danger. There's danger in the air or whatever it is. So we kind of wanted to capture that feeling on this album. And I think we managed to do that, especially with the cover art and all that stuff.
You bring up the visuals, so let's talk about that. You guys have done a lot when it comes to the visual appeal for Force of Danger, right? Your music videos are looking like the slickest I think they've ever been. You've done lyric videos, you've done high-end photography, or at least professional photography, coordinated clothes, and you're spending a lot of time on it. You're spending definitely money on it. That can be seen. Was that always what you envisioned for the band? And is that something you think the band needed at this point of time?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been of the opinion that previously we weren't really, all the elements that go into making our band, they weren't really tied together. It's kind of like we had one look, our music sounded a certain way, our photographs looked a certain way. It was just all spread out a bit. I mean, it's been getting tighter ever since Burn Up the Night. But I think, on Force of Danger, we wanted to get a bit more together, I would say. Because if you look at the photographs and the album cover and the lyrics and the music and the vibe of the entire thing, it all kind of fits together, which is kind of what all these bands, like Priest did with Painkiller, for example. If you look at the photographs from that era, compared with the music, compared with the lyrics and all that stuff, it all ties in together really well. And we actually also plan on, getting maybe, a stage setup done, which kind of fits the album artwork and the vibe of the lyrics and everything. Because I remember when there was a Judas Priest, the Judas Priest Painkiller tour itself. They had, they were just completely like the most metal they've ever looked. Because it fit the vibe of that album. And I think even for us, for this album, I would say this is our most metal album. It's got all the hallmarks of pure heavy metal, I would say. Probably when we start playing live shows and stuff, we'll start getting some of these elements in on stage, the way we dress, probably, get in more studs, more leather, more chains, all that stuff. and now we're going to do it in this heat and stuff, but we'll manage somehow. There was a conscious effort in, to get all these elements under one roof, so to say.
When you were talking about that, I was just thinking about you wearing leather pants. I have no idea how you do that live, man.
It's actually quite comfortable. And they're my wife's pants. So
Right. So coming back, right? We talked about the videos. I mean, I really liked the lyric video for Raging Steel, which honestly, if you look at lyric videos, right, it's always just like lyrics, just the words floating in the air and coming at you in different directions. But you guys had far more than that. Was there a strategy that you all planned behind the videos and the singles that you all selected?
It's really weird because we've released 3 singles so far: Force of Danger, Raging Steel, and Hotwired. And we spent the least amount of time and money on Hotwired, but it's getting the most traction out of all 3, which is really weird. Because we envisioned it to be the exact opposite. We kind of we spent a good amount of time and money on the title track, Force of Danger. We made a really full-on video for it with a script and characters, and there was a lot of effort that went into it, because we kind of expected it to get the response that it kind of deserved, or probably we expected it to get. It did in a certain way, but not as much as we hoped. But it's cool because we always wanted to release an anthemic kind of song as a video, because that we're pretty sure it's going to be a slow burn. It will start catching on eventually. That's of course going to be one of our staples when we play live going forward. So that was fine. Raging Steel, that was a bit of a shock for me because I was really pumped about that video, because we got the guy who did the unofficial lyric video for Painkiller to do it for us. He gave us a killer video. I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is like the best lyric video we've ever done. And that took a bit of time, some money, effort, whatever, blah, blah. But and I think it's the best song on the album. But for some reason, it hasn't caught on as much as Hotwired, which is really strange because Hotwired was, we just put some tour footage together, spent I think a day on it and put it out there. It's hit 75,000 views already. So I don't know what people want anymore.
I thought Kryptos was all about not giving a fuck about what people wanted.
I know that was just a joke, but it's like you put out these singles kind of as like a teaser for your album. This kind of tells you what an album's going to sound like, and you kind of hope that it will catch on a bit and it will get you more mileage in the right circles and all that stuff, basically, which ultimately leads to all the good stuff, people talking about your album, you get gigs, promoters hear about you and all that good stuff. But yeah, I'm glad that at least one of the singles caught on, Hotwired was it kind of really exceeded all our expectations. And it seems to be, at least from all the press that have been interviewing us, reviewing our album and stuff, they seem to be latching onto Hotwired a lot. So I guess it works.
Fair enough. Okay, since we're talking the music videos, let's just wrap that end up as such. Force of Danger, it promises a continuation of the storyline. Are we ever going to see that? If not, what was the continuation intended to be?
I hope we'll see a continuation. I have no idea what's going to happen in the future, but the continuation was going to be we were planning on doing it for the song Dawnbreakers. It's all about it's basically a biker song, get on the road, wind in your hair, all that stuff. But we are kind of going to do it the robotic creature, whatever, in Force of Danger. He's going to be riding in a Chevy or something, and he's going to be chasing us on bikes. There's going to be a high-speed chase and explosions and stuff. So that's the kind of stuff we've envisioned. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but it'll be great if it does. But at least, we might, if we can't do it physically, maybe we'll try and, get an animation done or something like that, because I think it'll be pretty cool.
Okay, let's play a song from Force of Danger. Which one should we play and why?
I think you should play Dawnbreakers. To me, that song it's everything that this album and us and the band in general. We're all about just having a good time, making your own choices in life, being free, in your head, just doing what you want to do. And it's also kind of like, since the song is kind of like about camaraderie between these guys in this biker gang or whatever, like for fans of Sons of Anarchy, they'll kind of know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like how it feels like to be in a band as well. It's four guys against the world. When we go out on tour, it's kind of like it's just us, and we are out there to make a mark, and we all have to look out for each other and all that cheesy stuff. But and Dawnbreakers kind of encapsulates all of that in like 4 minutes or so. And I think it has two of the best solos on the album. Like Rohit really outdid himself, especially if you listen to the ending solo. It's straight out of J.K. Lee's handbook. It's a phenomenal solo, and he actually nailed that solo in like a couple of takes. And all of us, like, because he spent a lot of time on the previous solo, but when he finally got into his groove and he knocked that solo out, we all were like, "What the fuck? Like, this is awesome." So yeah, I think that's some of his best work, and I don't think Rohit gets the credit he deserves as a lead guitarist. Especially in in the Indian scene at least, because he's actually, if you consider his solos ever since Coils of Apollyon and Burn Up the Night and so on and so forth, he's been kicking ass ever since then. And honestly, I think it's about time some of his stuff starts getting showcased, because I know as a band it's all about the band, it's about the songs and stuff like that, but it's kind of like you wanted to be like an Aussie Randy Rhoads kind of situation, where the guitarist also gets some of the spotlight, and I think his solos definitely deserve some of that.
The motor
let's get to the basics now. I mean, you talked about the riffs, right? And I really want to know what makes a riff a Kryptos one. I mean, like, is there like a test that it has to pass? What goes on between you and Rohit? Tell us.
it's there's nothing special actually. It's just got to sound good. It's got to sound catchy. It's got to make you feel something. Like especially for me, when we sit and we put riffs together, we start stitching stuff together. It's got to put images in my head. It's got to make me want to think of something. Like there's a song Omega Point on our album, which straight away made me think of outer space and Event Horizon and all this creepy stuff outside, extraterrestrial stuff and blah blah. It automatically put all this stuff in my head, so it kind of made it easier to take the song forward. So when we're writing riffs, it's got to be catchy. It's got to put some sort of imagery in your head, and it's also got to be I wouldn't say unique, because I don't really think we are that unique when it comes to writing riffs and stuff. But the riff has to be quality. You can be influenced by, say, Black Sabbath. You could write a riff like Tony Iommi, but it's got to be. You can't just do it lazily. You got to put some conviction into it, and there has to be some sort of quality to it. Like you could play like a simple riff like Iron Man, but can you play it like Tony Iommi, or can you put your spin on it that you're paying homage to Tony Iommi, but you're doing it in such a way that it's not how do I say this? It's not like an obvious homage. It's like, oh yeah, he's put a slight spin on it, so I know where it's coming from, but it's going in a different direction, kind of like that. So whatever we do, of course we are influenced by like Priest and Accept and Maiden and all this stuff, but if you listen to our riffs, they might sound familiar, but they kind of have a slight deviation to them, which sets them apart from the bands we're influenced by. And of course, on top of that, when you throw in my shitty vocals on top, it takes on a whole different meaning. But yeah, that's the basic thing. It's just got to, when we sit and write riffs, they have to sound good, they have to be catchy, and they have to have a certain quality to them that showcases our influences, but also takes a slight detour somewhere down the road.
And all that kind of like ties in with your I remember what you told us last time, which was that we write songs, or Kryptos writes songs with which you can have a few drinks with.
Exactly. It's got to be riffs that you can hang out with your friends, have a few drinks, or some kid listens to and he's like, whoa, I can play this. Or it's like that riff sounds really cool, really catchy. Let me pick up my guitar, maybe I can learn this riff. I mean, that's kind of how we learned how to play the guitar. That's how I learned how to play the guitar. I would watch Dave Murray or Slash or whoever it was, and I'd be like, oh cool, it sounds simple enough, certain riffs or certain melodies, let me see if I can figure it out. And I think that's the most important. It's kind of like the riff for Crazy Train. How many guitarists have been inspired because of that one riff? Or Smoke on the Water, or Paranoid. Simple riffs, but if it weren't for those simple riffs, we probably wouldn't have heavy metal as it is today, because those simple 2-chord, 3-chord riffs have inspired like millions of guitarists to just pick up the instrument and just jam and come up with stuff on their own. So hopefully some of the riffs that we come up with can inspire kids in India to do the same, or anywhere else in the world for that matter.
Now, see, there's a flip side to this, right? The thing about writing music that appears to be simple is that it can seem effortless, right? Like it could seem like you guys had written it in your sleep, but that itself is a huge challenge, or that itself is a huge compliment as such, because it takes effort, man, to pull something like that off. Like simplicity is excellent, but to arrive at simplicity after having spent so much time listening to so much music, it's complicated stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. This is something I tell people. I mean, I have conversations with some people who say, AC/DC is so boring because it's so simple, or what's the big deal? I'm like, dude, you know how long they've been around and how many killer riffs they've written, and simplicity in itself it sounds simple, but it isn't. You can listen to like an album like Highway to Hell or High Voltage or whatever. It sounds simple. It's like, oh, that's easy. It sounds simple. I can play it in my sleep. But what's the big deal? But dude, can you write it? Can you write an album like? Can you write 2 albums like? Can you write 5 albums? Can you write 10 albums? Can you do it for like 50 years? Most people can't. 99% of people on this planet cannot. I think we are in that sense, we're a bit blessed because we've kind of, really taken the simplicity of the music we listen to. It kind of runs in our, it's made us who we are. That simplicity is kind of how we live our lives, and also how we write our music as well. So when we write a riff, when we write a song, we just make sure that even though it's got like maybe 2 riffs, 3 riffs at most, those we need to make sure those riffs count, and we need to make sure that these riffs are structured in such a way that everything just makes sense. It's like 4 minutes. Even if you have 2 riffs, you just got to place them in the right fashion, structure them in the right way. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, but maybe a 20-piece jigsaw puzzle. You just kind of get all the pieces in the right areas, and that's it. You have a great song, because at the end of the day, the song is king. If you have a great song, no matter how simple it is, that's it. It doesn't matter if you can play like 1,000,000 notes per second or play like double bass at light speed or whatever it is. It's all about the song at the end of the day. So in that sense, because we're so used to writing simple stuff, it comes natural to us. It's become ever since Burn Up the Night, it's something that really came easily to us. We've always wanted to strip things down, and we've just carried on since then. So I think you can expect a Dream Theater like album next time.
I'm wondering who's going to grow the Petrucci beard, you or Rohit? All right. But on that note, let's play another song from the album. Which one do you think we should play, and why?
I think you should go for Thunder Child. Thunder Child is kind of like it's a Mad Max inspired song. If you read the lyrics and stuff, it could very well turn into a Mad Max script. But in this case, it's more of a dystopian landscape, and these kids who have special abilities and stuff, special powers. They're all enslaved by this evil empire, and it's all out in the desert, and it's got all these dystopian, futuristic imagery going on, and it's all about breaking free from all that, and rising up, and it's all about revolution and all that cool stuff. Why I really like this song is because I think it's the heaviest song on the album. It's got really pounding double bass that really sounds like a tank going over bones or something. Towards the end, Rohit's included some really killer solos and some killer fills in there. But towards the end, it gets like super fast. There's like a quick switch, which is kind of like what Iron Maiden used to do with a lot of their songs. They start off slowly, and then suddenly it goes really fast, like in Afraid to Shoot Strangers or something. They have those fast bits. Or it's also kind of like Heaven and Hell, where the ending kind of just speeds up and it ends in a huge crescendo and stuff like that. So that's exactly what we've done with Thunder Child. It gets really heavy at the end. There's solos flying about everywhere, and it's just it builds to a point where and where it's like you're just and everything just slams you in the face right at the end, and the song's done. So I think that's probably our heaviest and our most I would say it's probably the most ambitious song on the album, because we had a lot of trouble recording it as well, because it's not easy to play double bass so like constantly for that long. So yeah, Vijay had a tough time in the studio.
Here it is, Thunder Child. All right, so Nolan, in our last chat, you remember we spoke a lot about what it means to be Indian, right? Especially in metal. The good thing is, most of the reviews that I've read about Force of Danger, one, they aren't by Indians or Indian publications. So that's that. But they all still roughly begin the same way, which is to state the fact that Kryptos is an Indian band. So here's the question again, right? In a way, does the Indian tag still help Kryptos, a band that is releasing or has released its sixth album?
I mean, it does help in a certain way because, of course, it's a novelty factor. It's a novelty factor. A lot of people who haven't heard of us, who haven't heard of metal from India, they're like, whoa, an Indian metal band. Let's check it out. Yeah, okay, I guess it does help with, the curiosity factor. If somebody told me, hey, man, would you like to check out this metal band from Madagascar? I'd be like, whoa, Madagascar, cool. Yeah, I'll check them out. But I think we've reached a point where I think we should have moved past that by now, actually. Actually, when we play live, when we go on tour, when we started touring like many years ago, people were like, whoa, we're a band from India. They kept asking us about India and, whoa, man, how is it in India, blah, blah. And how come you guys are playing metal and all that stuff? And, you got to keep telling them the same spiel, yeah, dude, we can play metal and, we don't have snakes in our pockets and we don't ride elephants and all that stuff. But over the years, they've come to realize that we are just another good heavy metal band. It doesn't matter where we come from. They have accepted the fact that we play heavy metal, we play this kind of heavy metal, and we do it as well as everyone else. So it doesn't really matter, where we come. Their curiosity is no more about, oh, cool, these guys are from India, let me check them out. It's more, oh, you know what, I saw them last time, I had a lot of fun watching them. I'm going to watch them again, not because they're from India, but because I enjoyed their show. I discovered another good metal band and I like their music. The music ticks all the right boxes and that's it. That's why I want to keep following them. So, the last time we went out on tour, I don't think, I think there was maybe one person during the entire tour who actually brought up the whole India thing. Oh, you're from India, blah, blah. Which was great because everyone just came out to see us, and they came out to watch us because they were listening to our music. They wanted to watch us play the music that they heard when they bought our CDs, LPs, whatever. And that was great. They were talking to us only about our music for the most part, which is the way it should be. But I guess, it's something we can't really escape. It might take a really long time before people get used to the fact that metal can come from anywhere and it can be as good as anywhere else. But I would say it's if there were more Indian bands who were putting out quality material, like every year, every second year, touring a lot more, then I think the whole tag of being an Indian band would slowly fade away. But right now, I don't think there are enough of us doing that, which is why it's still a novelty. Because once upon a time, Brazilian metal was a novelty, until Sepultura completely blew that notion out of the water. And then tons of bands came out from Brazil after that, but no one says Brazilian metal anymore. It's just metal. It's like, you don't call Angra Brazilian metal. It's like progressive metal or whatever. Because that road has already been worn. It was already worn by then. So I don't know. Maybe in the next 10 years, this tag might drop. But until then, I guess we're stuck with it.
I must ask you now, you're 6 albums in. Do you still notice any difference between how Indian fans or your friends react or respond and maybe even receive your songs versus a global audience?
See, I'll get this. I'm going to set the record straight. In India, we don't actually have that many fans, in my opinion. Or, we have fans, but I don't think they really get what we are all about. Some of the older guys, some of the guys who are about 30, 35, some of the older generation, yeah, they get what we're trying to do, and they kind of get the music we make. In fact, most of our sales that happen in India happen to people of that age group. It's mostly not the younger crowd. The younger crowd are all on Facebook liking our stuff and commenting, yeah, good stuff, man. Which is fine. I mean, it's all cool. Some of them come out to gigs. Yeah, it's cool. If you come out to our gigs, it's mostly an older audience as well. It's not really a very young audience. Overall, I would say the Indian audience, they don't exactly get what we do. I mean, it seems like they enjoy what we do, but I don't think they really get where we're coming from. But abroad, because this kind of music has been a part of their culture and their life, their growing up years, or whatever you want to call it, since the 60s and the 70s, they get the vibe. If you read all the reviews that have been coming out for Force of Danger and even for Afterburner before this, they all talk about that feeling of nostalgia they get when they listen to our music. And you can only get that feeling if you've lived through all that, I wouldn't really expect a 17-year-old kid to get a feeling of nostalgia from listening to Force of Danger. He won't really know what that feeling is unless he, kind of really, really got into it, which would take a lot of time and stuff. But most of the audiences abroad who listen to our stuff, they've been through all that. They get it. They get where we are coming from because we've been through all that as well. So it connects better with them than it does over here. I guess it's just a generational thing, That's the only way to put it.
Okay. So, some cities in India like Delhi, Hyderabad, and I think now a bit in Bombay, gigs have started. Actually, earlier, before we got on this chat, I saw that the rock band from Bangalore, Parvaz, has actually announced an all India tour next month, which I feel is quite ambitious. But for me, what's really exciting was that one of my favorite venues in India, which is Fandom at Gillies, which is, of course, in Bangalore, is going to have gigs soon. So do you guys have any plans to perform there soon? And what about the rest of India? Hint, hint, Bombay.
I hope so. If things go well, I mean, if things open up as they seem to be opening up slowly, we might think of doing something at Fandom in December. Maybe. I don't know, because we haven't actually practiced for like 2 years now, so we might sound like shit also. But yeah, if not this year, then next year for sure. If everything's opened up and everything's fine, we will plan on doing like a multi-city Indian tour, if you can call it that, because it won't really be a tour. It'll just be like weekend holidays. It's been a long time since we played in lots of parts of India, like Bombay, for example. So it's about time we set that record straight. And of course, we have to get ready for our, European gigs and stuff. So this is the best way to do it. Play locally, get out globally, and kick ass.
I really do hope that we get to see you guys live here and that you guys have a really kick-ass 2022. So, time to plug where people can reach you or the band, or more importantly, how they can get hold of the album and merchandise. Where can people do that?
Yeah, anyone can reach us on Facebook. Facebook seems to be the place where everyone gets in touch with us. You can get in touch with me on Facebook. I'm always there, trolling people's posts, commenting shitty stuff everywhere. Spouting my stupid opinion on all sorts of things. So yeah, that's the best place to get in touch. For merch, if you're in India, we will have merch available in December, most likely, because we have to get stuff down from Europe, CDs, LPs, all that stuff. If you want shirts, we got shirts, some hoodies are coming out, caps, all that fun stuff. It's on rockandrolloriginals.com. If you're abroad anywhere, you can get our stuff from Bandcamp. Most of the good merch is on Bandcamp. If you live abroad, you're lucky. You can get all sorts of cool shit. But in India, you'll have to wait a while, because I think we have LP, CDs. We are also going to work on a tape deal. We might get some tapes down as well. And we might have some limited edition box sets and all that stuff. I don't know, but this is what management is talking about.
Management.
Which is basically one guy sitting in Austria and his jogs.
Hi, Madhav.
Yeah. Management, if you're listening, sign me up for one of those Kryptos logo t-shirts that are only available on Bandcamp to fucking non-Indians.
Yeah, make sure he sends some down.
Alrighty, man. Nolan, thanks so much for joining us. And yeah, full power, man.
This was fun. Thanks a lot for having me.
Thanks.
As always, we are at hornsupod.com and on Twitter at hornsupod. Send us something to read. I'm on Twitter at Asmawani.
I'm at Trend Crusher.
Keep them horns up.
Horns up, everyone.